Today we're talking about hammers. Now, just be aware whenever you're working with a hammer or many other tools in the mechanic industry or other industries, just be very careful, always wear your safety goggles and your earmuffs. When I was a young apprentice, I think I was about 19, I was using a ball peen hammer and I hit another piece of metal very hard with it, and a piece of the hammer actually splintered off and it chipped my hammer and it went into my cheek. Now, it did miss my eye and I was very lucky, but I had to go to the doctors, and the doctor used a very small pair of tweezers and he pulled the piece of metal out of my cheek. Now, if it had gone in my eye, I would have been blind in that eye. So, got to drum it into you, always wear safety protection. If you're working underneath a car and you're hammering, you will get dirt that's like road dirt and grime sprinkle on your face. It does go in your eyes, so always remember eyewear and airwear. So let's get on and talk about hammers. Here we have my selection of hammers. There's many different types and variants, and they're all used for different applications. Now, so this is a typical mechanic hammer that we use a lot, which is called a ball peen hammer, used by mechanics, a great tool for hitting punches and chisels, or even use the ball peen to make a gasket. Now, just when you're using a hammer, if you're using the hammer like so, you're going to get very little leverage and you get a very small bit of force hitting on the surface that you're hitting. Now, if you hold the hammer back at the beginning of the handle or close to the beginning, you get a lot more leverage and a lot more force. The ball peen hammer can be used to make a curve in a piece of flat steel. So what you can do is just tap it and you can make a nice little curve. Just a maintenance tip for your hammer: if the head becomes loose from the handle and you're using it to hit, the head can fly off and it can damage a car or go through a window or hit someone in the face. So if it does go loose, just remember you need to secure it before you use it again. Now, the trick that I was taught when I was a kid is you hold the hammer like so, and you do this on the ground, on the concrete, and you lift it up and you drop it down, up, down, drop down, and the weight of the head gets forced back down onto the handle. And then there's a wedge inside here you can re-tap with another hammer and knock that back down. If it doesn't have a wedge, you can buy one from the hardware shop. It's no good using nails or screws, they don't work. You need to use a wedge because the wedge spreads the wood out and locks it onto the handle again, okay? This is a tip for you. If you have a nut and it's on a bolt and it's stuck and you can't undo it with your spanner. Now this one's loose because I'm just showing you as an example. But let's just say it's stuck. What you could do is put some CRC or WD-40 on there. You can hold one hammer on one side and then tap the nut around. It stretches the nut a little bit and your nut will then undo. Okay, it does make a big difference. So from the beginning we have the dead blow hammer, which is filled with lead or sand. Next to that we have the rubber mallet. We have a brass end hammer with, and also on the other end has raw hide. Then the smash hammer, the ball peen hammer, the cross hammer, plastic tip hammer, rubber tip hammer, typically a builder's hammer, which would be called a claw hammer, and then the small version of the cross hammer at the end, or it could be like a shoemaker's hammer.